Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Bryan. Bryan is from the Netherlands. So let's see what Bryan has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Go. Hey.
Hello Bryan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Looking forward to it.
So tell me, how's your morning going so far?
Yeah, so far it's pretty good. Just got done with some clients, got some work done, and I'm all ready for the interview, basically.
Amazing, amazing. I'm gonna ask you, do you think it's possible to put just a little bit up your camera, just tiny
Oh, yeah,
bit?
sure.
Because
Yeah,
yes, perfect now, perfect
yeah.
now. So Bryan, tell me, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from the Netherlands then, so from like a small town close to Utrecht, basically.
Okay.
Don't know how familiar you are in the Netherlands, but
Um, I love Netherlands. I've been there so many times. I've been to
okay.
of my best friend. He lives in Eindhoven, close. I mean Helmond, close to Eindhoven.
Oh,
So,
Eindhoven. Yeah.
so I've been a few times to Amsterdam as well. How far are you from Amsterdam?
How far am I from Amsterdam? I think it's like 45 minutes to an hour drive, basically.
I see. And tell me, what do you do for living, for work?
Well, I am like a personal trainer, personal coach, basically. I have like my online business with my Instagram and all that stuff, and I have like an in-person studio where I'm at now, where I train people that are from the region, basically, or locally, basically.
I see. So walk me through a little bit more about your journey as a fitness coach.
Well, I kind of started like 5 years ago, somewhere along those lines. I've always been active, basically. I've always been into like football or soccer, depending on if you're American. But yeah, always been active with those kinds of things. Yeah, I know you're English, so probably football for you as well. So yeah,
Actually, I'm from Brazil, even
are
more
you from
powerful.
Brazil?
I live in
Okay, yeah.
London. I live in London. Yes.
Oh, in Brazil, it's still football, right? So it's fine. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
at least in Spanish, it's football. So I think it's in Portuguese as well. So
The same. Yeah, we say
yeah.
football as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. So then we agree on that part as well. So that's nice. Yeah, so basically I've always been into like football as well. And
Mhm.
then when I was like 15 or 16, I started going to the gym, like when I was still in school, because it was a fun thing to do outside of school. And it kind of progressed from there. When I started out, it wasn't too serious, of course, because you just kind of roll into it, go to the gym, pump some weights, start looking a little bit better,
Yep.
hoping to get some more girls because of it. The whole thing why a lot of people start, basically. And from there, it just kind of developed into something that I really love to do, my hobby, my job. So basically, now it's something that basically my whole life revolves around, because I've just uh, built my living, built my career out of it as well. So yeah, it's just something that progressed.
Amazing. I think it's great when you do something that you love, that you have passionate about, and it's a business as well. So I think altogether it gets you to the right place.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely when I was like 14 as well. I always said that it would be so cool to be like a personal trainer. Uh,
Hmm.
Even though back then I didn't really, of course, knew what it actually meant to be one.
Yep.
Uh, I thought it would be cool because I saw some people do it, and I was like, oh, that would be cool to do as well. And I kind of just strayed away from it. And then at some point, I picked the dream back up, went for it, and now I have my own gym and my own studio as well.
Amazing. Very good. So during the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your life and also about your joys. Okay.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Bryan, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
I don't see one. Yeah, sure. All ready for it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here a friend full of random fun questions. I'm just
Mhm.
going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Of course, yeah, sure. Go for it.
Just let's do it. Right, Bryan, before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay, sure. Yeah. If I don't want to answer anything, I'll just let you know. That's fine.
Amazing. First question for you is, tell me, what do they do that comforts you the most?
That comforts me the most. Good question. I think something that along the lines, I think my mom basically always was always just there for me. I think that's the main thing, and same with my dad. Basically, I think the fact that when I needed them, they're just there is enough for me.
Do you have siblings as well, or just you're the only child?
I have a younger brother and an older brother, so we're three boys.
Wow. Tell me, who in your family you are more close to?
I like to think I'm pretty close to all of them, basically, because I do see them pretty regularly. My brother lives a bit further away, so I don't see him as much, but I am pretty close, basically, with my entire family, because I think family is very important. So I always try to make sure that I make some time for my family and I see them on a regular basis.
I see. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, next question is, if you could have been a moment or event in history, which one that would be and why?
Well, I personally, I always love like shows and stuff about like the medieval ages or the Viking period. So I think if I had to pick something, it would be that period in time. Like a specific event, I honestly I wouldn't know because I have no clue what would be cool to be in. Because obviously, it wouldn't be nice to be in like a war shooting cannons and all this stuff. So I think I would love to be in the time period, but not necessarily on the front line, basically.
I see. And tell me, for you, how was growing up in Holland, in the Netherlands? Tell me your experience.
Well, to be fair, I think it's a pretty good experience. The Netherlands, of course, it's just a good country to live in general. Everything is well taken care of. Healthcare systems, the roads are well taken care of. The whole social infrastructure, normal infrastructure, it's all very well taken care of. So I think growing up in the Netherlands is definitely nice. It's a good country. The weather is kind of though, but that's part of the deal, I guess. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty good experience.
I see. And for you, growing up, did you kind of experience live in different parts of the country, or just lived in the place where you were born?
I have lived in some parts of the country, like I'm originally like from the countryside a little bit more. I live in like big, like a slightly bigger city basically now. It's like 70 to 80,000 people, and where I come from, it's like little villages with that we have like between 2 and 5,000 people living there. So I have moved around a little bit, even though it's a bit in the same area of the country. I've always lived, even though the Netherlands is very small, in the middle part of the country basically.
Right.
And my brother lives in Rotterdam as well, so I've visited there. I've been to Amsterdam, of course. I've been all over the country, but I've only lived in the middle part, basically.
I see. All right. Next one. Let's do it, Bryan. Before the next question, tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Well, I have my YouTube channel where I post like motivational videos, instructional videos for people who are starting with fitness basically and want to get in shape, helping them out with the whole mindset part, workouts, exercises, all those kinds of things, just to help some people out. I've started it now like 4 months ago, so it's not that long, but so far I'm pretty happy with how it's going.
And when was the idea for you to create your YouTube channel?
Well, I have the Instagram page, of course, and I wanted to branch out into more social media platforms. So I have a TikTok account as well, which I started like a couple months ago. I have my YouTube, I have my Patreon, all those kinds of things now because I wanted to branch out a little bit more than be just on Instagram.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I always thought YouTube was a very fun platform as well, but I never really used it. So I was like, I'm just gonna give it a go, see how it works. And so far, I really love the platform. I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm just gonna keep posting there regardless.
I see. And do you post on your YouTube channel? Do you post video like once a week, or how does it work? Do you have like a schedule or not?
I post shorts basically every single day. I always post shorts, and I try to make like a little bit more longer form content, like once a week, as far as I can. My schedule allows. But I go at least for once a week and sometimes twice a week, but mostly one time a week, the longer form content.
I see. Okay. Next question for you is, how do you make friends?
Well, to be fair, I make friends quite easily actually, because I am like with my job, I'm always around people. I'm very comfortable around people, so to me, making new friends is pretty easily. Even though I always do try to keep my circle of friends pretty small because I don't have time to just be social like all the time and be everywhere all at once. And I do want to make sure that the people that I spend my time with are people that are gonna be good for me and are gonna be like help me progress, and I help them progress, and so it's like a whole win-win situation,
I
and
see.
it's useful for both of us, and we both get something good out of it as well.
Amazing. Very good. Ready for another question?
I'm always ready.
Let's do it. I'm sure you are always ready.
Always ready.
Let's do it. Next question is, what hurt your feelings?
Like what hurts my feelings in general, or
Yeah,
something that hurt my feelings?
in general.
In general, something that always well hurts my feelings, I'd say, is when people lie to you. Of course, I think being lied to is a terrible thing because you should always be as honest as you possibly can.
Mhm.
So being lied to is something that can hurt my feelings. Basically being dishonest, I think. Yeah, not keeping your word, being, I think, yeah, lying to and being dishonest is the main thing for me. That's something that I can't deal with.
Tell me something, Bryan. When you think about yourself, when you analyze yourself, what's the best part of being you? What's the good part of being Bryan?
I think the good part about being me is I am a very disciplined person, so I always do the things that I need to do. And because I always do the things that I need to do, I always pretty much feel good about myself because I don't have things that I should like, oh, I really should be doing this, because I always do the things I need to do. So I think basically feeling good about yourself basically always is something that I think is good about being me.
Amazing. And your family, they always supported you when you start your career in fitness?
Yeah, my family has always been supportive of me. Of course, luckily, it's not always the case for all people, but for me, luckily, they were. I started out just working in my studio that I own now, so just got a normal job, started working around it, and started my social media pages like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now it kind of progressed from there. I went to managing the studio instead of just working there, and now I just own the studio
Oh,
entirely. So for me, it's always fun, and I think they've always supported me in general, regardless of what I would do. But I think that the constant progression in my career is also definitely something that helps them be supportive of me as well.
amazing. Next question, Bryan. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, tell me what's the biggest joy of being a fitness trainer? Yeah, what do you like the most about it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging about the business?
Well, I think the most fun part about being like a personal trainer is when people get results and you can actually see people basically change their lives. Because some people, when they start losing weight, and even though it's a smaller amount, a small number, they just completely, their confidence just completely changes. They start feeling better about themselves. And the fun thing is sometimes someone that walks into the building and just kind of starts with you is a completely different person than that walks out, basically. So it's always something so incredible to see that someone just does a 180, basically. They just completely change their behavior, the way they act, the whole thing. And I think that's just something that's always incredible to see, and just how much difference making someone feel better about themselves can actually make.
And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
I think the flip side is you also have some people that kind of expect, basically just because they sign up with a personal trainer, that you're going to do all the work for them. Even though, of course, it's something you have to do yourself. I'm just there to help and support you and make sure the whole plan is arranged so you can actually achieve your goals. But I can't do the work for you. And I think that a lot of people, they just blame you if they don't get results, or people just don't care and they kind of just don't try at all. And I think that's the most annoying part of being a personal trainer, when you have someone that you know could do really well, but they just don't care.
Interesting you saying that, because I had an interview with a personal trainer in New York City, and actually last night I posted a teaser video, and he talks about that. He says that if you do good efforts, you have good results. If you put great efforts, you have great results. So
Yeah.
in the end of the day, it's down to us. Whatever you do want to do to achieve, of course, you guys are there to kind of guide us, to give us the best, to make us get to the place. But if you are not up for it, what's the point? You cannot do it. You cannot do magic. You cannot do anything about it.
Exactly. No, I can't just magically wave my wand and be like, there you go, you've lost 20 pounds. It's something you just have to do yourself. And I can only help you achieve your goal and make
Absolutely.
sure that everything you're doing, basically the meal plan, the exercise plan, all those things are tailored to you so you can achieve the goal more easily. So it's easier for you. But I
Absolutely.
can't do the work for you. That's something you're gonna have to do regardless yourself.
Absolutely. All right. Next question is, tell us something interesting about yourself.
Something interesting about myself. It kind of depends on what you want to know because there are some things that people would not expect from me, or there are also just some things that I just do. So I don't know what you want to know.
So tell me something that not many people know about you. That when people find out, they go like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Or I was expecting you to do that, or to be this way, or to have done something that maybe not many people know."
Yeah. So something that because of my social media pages and all those things, a lot of people also think I'm like a very serious person, even though I'm kind of like a big goofball. I just do random stuff all the time. I'm huge into gaming, like a bit of a nerd basically.
Uh huh.
Something a lot of people don't really expect from me because because I post like about the whole fitness part
Yeah.
and you can get your goals, all the serious stuff, and because I'm trying to motivate people to get off their ass and do something. But in real life as well, I'm also just like a huge goofball that does the most random stuff.
What's your star sign or astrology?
My star sign, and I have to think because I know the Dutch one. It's I think in English it's like Cancer.
Cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Next one. Let's do it. Okay, Brian. Next question is, what is the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you?
The most romantic thing someone has ever done. That's a good question. That's a very good question. I need to think about it. Let's see. The
Take
thing.
your time.
Yeah, the most romantic thing someone. I think there's no particular thing, but I think the most romantic thing that people can do for me is at least just in general be supportive, be there for me, and just for me knowing that when I need you, you're there is something that means the world to me. Because a lot of times when you have your own business or when you're running something, it can be quite lonely because you're always on your own working and all those other things. So I think it's just nice to have someone there that if you need them, they're there for you. So I think that's the most romantic and genuine thing anyone can ever do for you.
Do you consider yourself to be a romantic person?
uh yeah, it's kind of like a stereotype as well. Dutch people are not necessarily the most romantic type, so I'm gonna have to agree. Not necessarily, even though I think sometimes yeah I can be, but most of the time I'm just so focused on building a business, all those things that I kind of sometimes forget about the whole other stuff as well.
Imagine you meet a girl like randomly, and you start talking out. You go like, "Oh, let's go for a train in my in my fitness area. Let's go for a
Yeah,
workout.
sure, just go work out. That's fine. Yeah, but yeah,
That's my safe place to be. Let's do that."
this is my safe place. Yeah, I kind of live here, so yeah, it's fine. No, but that's the thing. Being romantic, of course, it's just kind of about, to me, it's about gestures, and making sure that someone knows that you always take care of them.
Absolutely. I think romantic, it can be very personal. I think simple things, when people they get to know you, they see the person you are, and you just be yourself. I think people appreciate that. You don't need to go, like crazy and
Yeah.
do like fancy stuff. It's okay as well if you feel like, why not? There are no rules, but I think the main thing is about you doing something from your heart, and people appreciate that. That's how I see.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. Because I think a lot of people are like romance, oh, you come home with like a whole bouquet of roses and all
Yeah,
those things. But for me, romantic can also be just making sure that you know that someone you love is always taken care of. Just take good
totally.
care of them. Make sure it can be mentally, financially, I don't know, but make sure they're well taken care of and they don't have anything that bothers them.
Absolutely. 3 questions left. Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Hey, Brian, next question is, what is the worst advice have you ever given?
I think the worst advice that I was given and that a lot of people get in general is just to be reasonable, because people always think like, oh, just make sure your goals are not too big because otherwise you might be disappointed because you're not going to get them or those things. And I think that's someone, people tell me that because, you know, you're like, oh, you know, you can also just work a little bit less and, you know, make a little bit less money. And I don't know, those kinds of things. And it's not all about, you know, growing a business. It's not all, there's other things in life as well, which is true, of course. But I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
if you want to, I think the worst advice you can give someone is to just not give it your all. I think that's the worst advice you can ever give anyone. And that's also some advice people gave me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, work a little less, or it's not everything, you know, to grow and be a better person. It's also good to just have time off and just be relaxed all the time. So for me, I think the worst advice I was ever given is to just chill out and not give it your all.
Yeah, I agree. I think you need to. Some people sometimes they think it's wrong to think big. Why not? You need to dream big. You need to think. You know what I mean? That you can do it. That you can go to the space. You can go to the moon and come back. Why not? It's you need to always think this way.
Yeah, for me, it's like always doesn't make sense to me that people are like, oh, you got to think smaller because of it. Then, of course, you're not going to be disappointed. But to me, if you have a really big goal and you try and you try and you try and you fail,
Yeah.
you'll still be further along than if you had like this really small goal. Because even though I failed somewhere, if I fell somewhere halfway towards my goal, I'm still a lot further along than if I set my goal to be over there. So,
It's
yeah,
better. It's better than oops than what if. You know what I mean?
exactly. It's always
Yeah.
better to just say, oh, you know, shouldn't have done
I
that,
tried.
or
I
say
tried.
I'm sorry instead of just not doing it at all.
Absolutely. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, you know, working out, doing your workout like daily or almost every day, your routine, there is any kind of workout that for you that you don't like doing it? For example, when I'm working out, there's something that makes me feel, let's say, lazy or less motivated when I do my back. I don't know. It's something that I don't like. I can do the others and I still do my back, but when I know that I'm gonna train my back, I go like, oh my god, it's another day that I just don't feel like. For you personally, for you, there is something that that you don't like it, or you like but less than the other, something personal for you?
Definitely, definitely. I absolutely despise cardio. I hate it. It's so mind-numbingly boring. But to me, I know it's something that you have to do because it's good for your heart and your health. So I do it. And that's why I do things like these burpee challenges that I'm doing now to just train my cardio, and I'm kind of forced to do it because otherwise I hate it so much that I don't care about it as well. So I try to do it in things that I think are fun. So I swim and I do like the little challenges, so it helps to still train my heart and train my lungs and my health. But I hate it. I just hate it so much.
Amazing. Next question is, what is one thing you can't live without?
One thing I absolutely can't live without is, it's gonna sound like maybe a weird answer, but I think purpose.
Okay.
I absolutely cannot live without a purpose. If I have nothing to do, I just get so incredibly annoying towards all the people around me. It's just because I'm just
On the go.
I need something to do. I always want to be active. I want to do something. I want to, or I want to be able to just relax from doing something all the time. But I need a purpose in life to keep going and to do something and to just act on things and work towards it. Have a goal. Have clear goals in the future as well. I can't just be drifting around life purposely because I'll go insane.
Wow. And you always had this way of approaching life?
No, that's actually something that kind of came to me like at a later age. I think when I turned like, well, later age, I think when I became like 19, 20, somewhere along those lines. Before that, I was just kind of like cruising along and it's fine. And now I just, to me, that's just not a fun way of living. I need a purpose in my life to work towards. I need a goal. I need to have a vision. I need to have something that's challenging because otherwise I just get so incredibly bored and I become annoying and it's just something not fun for the people around me as well. So yeah, so for me, definitely, it's a bit of an unusual answer, but for me, purpose is the most important thing in my life.
Bryan, I'll tell you something. You're not alone out there, okay? There are so many people in the same boat as you. I'm exactly the same. I can't be doing this still. I need to be doing something. It's crazy how I can get bored. Like just if I sit down for 10 minutes, I need to be connecting something, like doing, there's always something to do. Yeah, that's how I see it as well. Ready for the last question?
I'm ready, yeah.
Let's do it. Last one. But before the last question, through your career, yeah, tell me a moment or situation with a client that you're never gonna forget. It's always gonna have a special place in your heart. It couldn't be from your own as well. Anything that happened to you in your business or career that you go like, you know what, that's I'm never gonna forget.
Well, there's been a lot of things in my career being a personal trainer that I'll never forget. So a couple of them are some people were very successful. I've had some people lose like 70 kg, which is like over I think 150 pounds, somewhere along those lines. So that's something that you'll never forget because it's such a big number. So that's awesome. And something that's on the negative side that I'll never forget is someone that I was helping out. He was like seriously obese and he was like so unhealthy, and he started bettering his life and started getting better habits, but unfortunately for him it was too late, so he died. And that's
Wow.
also something that I'll never forget because it does get you thinking, like if someone like that would have been maybe like a couple months earlier and he would have started working with me, or he started working in general on his health, this person just wouldn't have died. And
Yeah.
that's something that I'll never forget as well. Same thing as something that you'll always keep in mind is I've also had to perform some CPR like in front of my my thing as well because someone had a heart attack. So those are some things on the job that I'll never forget because it does kind of, even though I'm pretty good at processing emotions and
Yeah.
feeling fine, it is something that sticks with you because it's a memorable experience.
Of course, and it's being because you are passionate. So you know what I mean. You can put yourself in other people's shoes. You understand how is, you know. It's just because you are doing your business, of course, but at the same time as well, you are helping someone, and
Yeah.
somehow the energy is connecting there as well. So you feel part of their journey as well somehow. That's why.
Yeah, I think that's why as well, because it's just, to me, it's just such a shame that someone is trying to better his life, and then because he just started too late, it was too late for him, and then he just died basically. And I think that's such a sad thing for someone to experience,
Yeah.
because even though like it doesn't directly affect me in the way, because it doesn't like I personally I don't know him like in the real world. Basically, I know
Yeah.
him from my work, so I
Of
don't
course.
see him on a daily basis. But for me, it's still something that's so strange that someone just is a little
Absolutely.
bit too late and dies because of it.
Absolutely. Okay. Last question is good question. If you're not yourself, would you like to be yourself?
It's actually a pretty good question. Yeah, that actually is a good question. Um, yeah, I think so. It kind of depends. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because overall, I'd say I'm a very happy person. I'm very happy where I'm at. I've done very well for myself in the past few years. So I'm very happy, and I've progressed a lot as a person.
Mhm.
In my opinion, became a better person because of it in the last couple of years. So overall, yeah, definitely. If I was someone else, I would definitely still choose to be me.
Amazing. Very good. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay, so you basically say something, and the first thing that comes to mind, yeah,
Yeah. So one word for money.
freedom.
Family.
Well, family, happiness.
One word for love.
One word for love. Yeah, it's not really quick thinking now. This is a difficult one.
It's okay.
One word for love, I think, is peace.
Okay. Life.
Life is experience.
One word for sex.
Fun.
Politics.
Weird.
Religion.
Very useful. Two words, but yeah.
Sure. Fear.
Fear, nonsense.
Friendship.
I think happiness as well. Friendship, definitely happiness. Yeah.
Desire.
Goals,
Regret.
necessary.
Good. Success.
I think success is everything in life.
Good. Wish.
Desire, yeah.
Good. One word for happiness.
Happiness, everything as well. Because if you're not happy, your life sucks. So happiness is everything.
One word for Holland.
There's so many. One word for Holland, I think, unusual.
I like that. And the last one now, fitness coach. One word.
Necessary as well.
Amazing.
It's
Amazing.
something that's so necessary nowadays because people are just so unhealthy. It's something that is just you need it now.
Do you think that with the COVID situation, do you think people nowadays they are more into the gym, into more fitness, or do you think it kind of went down a little bit since the COVID crisis?
I think the COVID whole pandemic definitely helped to spark the interest in people of being healthy. But I also think that because it's been a while ago now, the desire kind of faded away over time because it's the same thing when someone dies.
Mm-hmm.
You're always like, oh, I really have to reach out into my family more, see them more, because you never know how long you're gonna see them for. And that's kind of something that you do for like a month or two or three, or maybe a year if you're someone that's very disciplined in it. But at some point, it's just gonna fade over time. And I think that's what happened with COVID as well, because COVID kind of went away, so people just kind of started living their normal life again.
Let's pretend now I'm going to go all the way to Holland to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, tell me the most beautiful thing about Bryan, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What your best friend would say?
I think the most beautiful thing would be that if you need me, I'll always be there. So, and I think the bad thing about me as well is something I can be quite critical, like quite harsh, basically sometimes. But I think something that I need to work on is well, I think if you ask my friends, probably then making more time, basically, because I'm a pretty busy person. But I think being harsh can be one, and also being, yeah, I think just being busy in general. I think that's something that I should probably work on. If you ask my friends, because people always want you to make more time for them.
I see.
And something that for me personally, I think I need to work on is just being more generally in touch with something how I feel sometimes, because I always just kind of go and I just don't care, and I completely ignore my feelings like 99% of the time. So for me, I think if I personally, something that I need to work on is probably just sometimes experiencing moments more.
Absolutely, and sharing feelings as well. I know for men it's difficult. You know, you find like it's somehow it's a male thing, it's a male thing, like not sharing emotions or feelings. And actually, sharing emotions and talking about them, it's a big sign of being strong. That's for sure. Asking for help or sharing, emotions, it shows that you are very strong, because not easy for men. I totally understand.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that's at least being able to share them is good, which also comes back to the whole point of me saying, like, I think it's good to know that someone's always going to be there for you, because then you can actually share your emotions if you need to.
Absolutely.
But for me personally, something I always just kind of just put them aside and do what I need to do anyway. But for me, sometimes it's not necessarily the sharing of the emotions, but it's just allowing myself to feel them sometimes, because I just don't.
Absolutely, it's good. Go there sometimes. Go down there sometimes. It's good.
Exactly.
It's
Actually,
healthy. It's
sometimes
healthy.
it's good to actually make sure that when something is bad and something you actually feel like for a little bit, and then just kind of get over
Yeah,
it. And for me, I just kind of like, okay, well, happened, fine, let's just go.
absolutely. Yeah, it's good to feel. It's okay to feel bad, to feel down, to feel emotional. It's not a bad thing. Everyone goes through that. Amazing. Let's play now, Bryan, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But okay, you can ask me a question now, Bryan. But actually, before you ask me the question, tell me what's your favorite Dutch word?
My favorite Dutch word. I don't really have like I think a favorite Dutch word. I think the fun thing about the Dutch language is there are so many words that sound for foreign people exactly the same, but they're different. So
tell me one. Tell me one then.
I think that's the fun part about. Well, I don't know if English words have it as well, but a lot of words in Dutch have like double meanings.
Okay, tell me one example.
One example of a Dutch word that has like a double meaning is a good example is something that a friend of mine once had. He has like a girlfriend that's Portuguese, and in the Netherlands, there's something that you say like something. It basically you say it zit ergens in, which basically means it's in something. But zit also means sitting down on something. So it's zit ergens in. So it's basically like there's I know there's cucumber in this salad, but in the Netherlands you say er zit komkommer in the salad. So it basically means it sits in the salad, basically.
I see.
A double word. So for a lot of foreign people, she was Portuguese, so she did not understand it at all. The whole sentence didn't make sense to her. And that's just one example of one of those things. So a lot of words can have double meanings, and which you're like, oh, it normally means sitting down, but it also means that something's in something.
I see. I see what I mean. Okay. You can ask me a question now.
Yeah, because you asked me this yesterday if you wanted to ask a question, and I think something that might be fun for you as well is actually, where do you want to be in 10 years from now?
My goodness, 10 years, it's a great question. And I tell you straight away, in 10 years time, I would love and I will be traveling the world with the Magic Box, and also doing William the Magic Box World Tour, where I could see my guests that we've been together. I just reached 1,000 interviews on the show now, and I can't wait to go around the world, meet my guests that already been on the show, and talk about different topics, go through some topic that we talk during the interview as well. Imagine I go to the Netherlands and spend like a day doing a session with you and showing the words, how can you improve yourself in fitness and give some advice as well. So I can't wait to go around the world and meeting people. And that's how I see the Magic Box in 10 years time. Not just that, I've got other projects as well, connect with that. And I can't wait to have all those projects all together in 10 years time. And again, more people express themselves, more people connect with the words, more people, share their point of views and open people's minds. I think that's the whole thing of the Magic Box. So yeah, in 10 years time, I'll be there. I'll be in Holland. Yeah, I'll be there in 10 years time walking around.
Oh, so you don't want like your own like big studio from the Magic Box?
Absolutely, as well. All the projects, it's about that as well. It's about having more technology. Yeah, for example, I'm here. I would like to have more technology. I also, I have, for example, I want to do William the Magic Box for kids as well, like something more for kids, something more spicy. People talking like William the Magic Box after midnight, something more spicy where people can talk about different topics that they don't talk very often, or it's like a taboo. People don't talk very open. So yeah, different topics in a different studio, different place, like in a bigger proportion, let's say. That's how I see myself in 10 years time. So yeah.
You basically want to turn it into like, one of those big talk shows that people want to watch and see the Magic Box, basically, like the Tonight Show, basically, something.
Absolutely. And also when I say the tour, I mean like, as in, I don't know, in a stage or somewhere where people can, come in as well. Some people, they can not just talk about the Magic Box, but also other people like fitness or people, comedians, actors, singers, all of them somehow connect with the world, showing their job and also connect with the audience. And also people open up and talking about some moments, just talking about like we are doing now, one-to-one. Imagine have someone sitting in the sofa with me and talk about different topics, questions that they never been asked before. So it's kind of this kind of projects that I have, and I can picture myself when I talk about. I can picture Bryan. I can picture the whole thing, in front of me when I talk about, because it's so powerful. When you believe in something, when you have a passion about it, as you have your passion about fitness, you know what I'm talking about. You vision, you see it, you can picture it in your mind. So that's how I see. I'm talking to you now, and my head's going like all the way. You know what I mean? Just I can feel myself in a place now where I have thousands of people just literally in front of me here, and other people here connecting and doing like the best they can. That's how I see.
And that's awesome. So in the end, you want to turn it into something that's entertaining to watch as well, but also educates people on different subjects.
Different subjects and open people's minds and topics that people they don't talk about very easily, and just to helping people. I think at the end of the day, when you talk about things, when you open up, you are not just helping yourself, you are healing yourself, but at the same time as well, you are helping other people. So it's great. I could give an example. I had an interview with someone in Australia. In the US. When I started doing the show 3 years ago, I had one of the interviews with a teacher, head teacher in the US. And he was explaining some personal situation that he went through. Yeah. And he talks very open during the interview. Few months later, I had an interview with someone in Australia, and this person, when I invited this lovely man, the same way I invited you as well, he said, oh yes, let's do the interview. And when we started doing the interview, he said to me that he watched this interview from this lovely man in the US, and he said, William, it was so powerful for me to hear someone the other side of the world going through, they went through the same situation that I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
So I felt so safe. I didn't feel alone. I'm saying that I've got goosebumps because it's very powerful. So imagine how you never know who's watching this interview right now. You never know who this message is gonna get to someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of YouTube, because people, they can watch anytime. They can, watch when they feel like. So I believe that it was. But I could tell you so many other stories that people around the world that they connected somehow. So yeah, that's one of the first stories that happened to me. I was like over the place when he told me that. Like, oh my God, I already done my job. I've done my job. When he said that, I said, okay, I can stop now. I've done my job now, because just this little thing that happened between him. Imagine watching someone there. I was like, okay, that's amazing. But anyway, so yeah, that's how I see the magic box in 10 years time.
Like, yeah, definitely. That sounds like an awesome purpose and something definitely worth working towards. And I think it's a lovely thing as well to do, because it's very good for someone to just not feel alone. Because a lot of people think,
Yeah.
especially men sometimes, well, because we don't talk about emotions as often,
Yeah.
and definitely feel very alone sometimes, and that like they're the only one going through something.
Yeah.
So I think you being able to help them out with your show and actually show someone, I'm not alone. It doesn't just suck for me. It sucks for other people as well. It can definitely be a very powerful thing.
Absolutely. I had an interview for a lovely from China, actually. He lives in the US, and he said, William, when he invited me, I screw a little bit on your Instagram page to see some videos of your channel. And he said, oh my God, and it somehow opened my mind, because I didn't know things about other countries in Europe, like Bulgaria, France. And he was like, oh my God, for me, it was so fascinated to see people express themselves, because I didn't know much about that, about Europe, about those countries. And when they were talking, sharing emotion, I was like, oh my, can you imagine, from China? And he said, because I just thought about the US, some other big countries. But when he saw a little bit of my channel, he said, oh my God, I wanted to do so badly, because I felt so inspired to talk about, my country, myself, because I just seeing those people from Europe talk different countries in Europe. So I was like, oh, I never thought about that. So for me, it was like, imagine how far I can reach, when you talk about things, about country, about, your country, or your life. So it's amazing. Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Thanks so much for taking the time. I know you're a busy man, but you took the time for the interview. Thanks so much. But before you go, Bryan, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Well, touching on the subject we just talked about, I think the positive message is you're never alone. There's always someone going through the same thing as you. So it's always okay to ask for help if you need to. And the second thing I think is very important to share with people is just the power of just keep going as well. Depending on what your goal is, just kind of keep pushing. If you see yourself having a big show and actually doing something, go for it. Don't ever let someone else tell you that you can't do it, because you're going to end up regretting that forever if you don't. So give it a go, try it, and actually make something happen. Do 1,000 interviews like you did, and start feeling good about yourself instead of just feeling bad about not doing something.
Absolutely. And I think, and keep going, dream big, you know what I mean? Keep going, never stop. When the barriers start coming, the challenge, as a positive thing, is not bad. When the challenge start coming, it means you are going the right direction. That's how I see it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have new challenges, that means you're doing something right, because you're leveling up. So new challenges, new struggles are a good thing. Embrace them, go for it, and just don't give up on your goals.
Never give up. Thanks so much. Okay.
Always good. It was a lot of fun.
You too. Thanks so much, and keep in touch. Bye-bye.
I will keep in touch.
Bye. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.